All right, what's going on, everyone? We're back down here at in Birmingham, Alabama for BKFC 17. I am here with the legend, Chris Lights Out Lytle. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fantastic, man. Excited to be here today.
We got to meet you the other night at at an establishment around here. Good, had a nice 2-3 hour hangout session with you. It was very cool to meet you. Chris is a staple in the BKFC family here. He fought a few times, and now you are a commentator. What got you into the commentating game and working with Sean Wheelock?
Well, unfortunately for myself, the bare knuckle fighting didn't really take off until I was retired for a long time. I had done one before that over in England because, as a guy who fought forever, I did boxing, MMA. I saw it on Facebook. I think my buddy Joe Riggs was doing a fight. I was like, wow. I remember at first my initial thought was, what the hell is Joe doing this for? And I hit play, I started watching it, and after about one round, I was like, okay, I got to get a hold of Joe to see how I can get involved. I want to do a fight, so I just wanted to go over there. I did a fight before it was legal here, and then they got a hold of me not long ago after that and said they were legalized over here, and I was like, man, I love this. I gotta do it. So I did a couple fights, but I was in my mid-40s. I think after my last one, I had wrist surgery, and I knew it was going to be some time off, and I didn't even know. It was kind of end anyway, so I just said, hey, I have built up about 23 years of fight experience in my head. What good is that if I can't send it out? So I wanted to do the commentary, so that's what I'm doing.
And you guys do a great job. Sean's definitely a real true pro. You obviously have a wealth of knowledge in combat sports. Do you believe that if bare knuckle was legalized earlier in your career, you would have made the move over from MMA, or would you have not changed anything?
It's hard to say right now. I do know I just wish it was legal 5 years before it was, and I know I'd have been doing a lot of it. It'd be hard to tell because at that time I was already driven by trying to be UFC champion, so it'd be hard to know what he would have done. But I definitely know at some point I would have, I might have ended my UFC career a little early to continue to do this because this is I like the pace of this. I like the excitement. This reminds me a lot of what the old UFC was.
I was just going to ask you, what are the comparisons? Because you've been around for a long time. You were in the UFC back in earlier years. Mm-hmm. When did you enter? Around Ultimate Fighter 2, 3?
My first one was in 2000 before the Ultimate.
Before the Ultimate.
No, it was before Dana White and them even bought the UFC.
Jesus. So what similarities do you see between the BKFC right now and UFC at that time?
Oh, it's so much. It's weird. It's not even just the fighting. Right now the fighters are getting better and better, and they're developing a true bare knuckle style, which really wasn't there before. So you see the guys who have 4, 6, 8, getting up in the more fights, and they get a different level of understanding. So that reminds me of the UFC. The organization, when I was first involved with the older UFCs, they weren't ran nearly as well. There was a lot of uncertainty. Like I said, the first time I fought before Dana White and them were involved, it was a totally different story. Once they got involved, it totally changed. But even like the fighters, after I keep telling the fighters, you'll be here, and afterwards, a lot of times people might all go to the same bar, or they might just hang out here at the bar at the hotel, and everybody kind of hangs out and talks and has fun. That's how the UFC used to be. It's not like that anymore. In the last 15 years now, like after the fights, like go to my after fight party at Pure, like everybody goes to their own separate directions. People don't hang out, and it's cool here. I keep everybody be hanging out, and I'm like, man, enjoy this because it won't happen in 10 years. It'll be different. But the rate at which this sport is evolving is so much faster than it was in the UFC.
It's definitely in its infant stages right now and growing at a very fast rate. That's why we love the sport so much. I was going to say that what we've been noticing coming to these events live is the family atmosphere. Yeah. Even like managerial managed groups, they all get along with each other. It's not like my group of fighters over here, fuck you guys over there. It's everyone's friendly with each other, and we really like to see that. And especially at like the weigh-ins and everything, everyone's walking around cutting weight. They're all feeling the same shit. It's quite the thing to see.
Absolutely. Now you do have. This is a fight business, so there's always going to be some people who are going to butt heads and go at it, and a little animosity. But in general, yeah, everybody gets along pretty well. I mean, you got a lot of like-minded individuals here. They're trying to help the sport grow. I mean, it's the same struggles, trying to grow and become big that, what we were going through, 20 years ago, 15 years ago with UFC, trying to gain acceptance because somehow that has gained acceptance. But now people look at, they go, bare knuckle. I mean, you just know when you hear that, I was guilty of it too. I was like, bare knuckle, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. And then when you watch it, you get involved with it, like, okay, this is different than my mental image. But I mean, that perception's still out there. I know even talking with Dave Feldman, they try and get in some venues, and the people are like, yeah, we're busy that day, and it's like, and they're not. They don't want that negative connotation to them.
Those are the people that were calling UFC human cockfighting back in the day.
Yeah,
they're blind to it.
Yeah, now they like it, but it just took time and acceptance. Now they're saying that about we're more on the cutting edge before, so it's just a little bit different. But eventually, it's getting accepted at a more rapid rate than the UFC did as well. So everything that the UFC did, we're doing quicker.
Yeah, you have a blueprint, and you can follow that blueprint. Now, it is one of the most exciting sports on the planet right now, and we have an event tonight, BKFC 17. We got Josh Burns and Frank Tate in the main event, Mike Richmond and Marcel Stamps in the co-main. What are some of the fights that the fans should really focus on tonight?
Well, you talked about those two. Those are going to be, really good fights. I don't know, man. They're just going to be. It's funny because when you go through, you start looking. You never know what's going to be the greatest fight. Sometimes you put two guys who haven't had any. I know the last one that, David Diaz, the one that was a great fight, even though you had two guys who came from the tryouts were putting out. I think we got 5 guys from this show who came from the tryouts. It's like, man, the tryouts are actually working, but you just don't know how they're going to come out and perform. And sometimes, even though you might not be as skilled as a bare knuckle fighter, it still makes for a great fight if you have two guys like that who are hungry and want to fight. And I think we have a lot of those. Another guy, a veteran who's been around for a long time, who I really love watching fight, Tom Schoaf. Mm-hmm. He's early on the card. That's going to be great. We have Chris Soros, who's coming off his first loss. But man, he's got the guy he's fighting, very strange name. I can't remember what it is right now, but that's a fantastic story, one of the best stories I've heard. It's his first time in here going against a guy in his 4th fight, but that fight is one of the ones I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be a great fight.
Right, we just did a show a little while ago, and we were talking. It's Izatola Kakar.
That's it.
Yeah, amazing story.
Oh, geez, that right there is, what this is about, giving people opportunity, and he wants this opportunity with all his heart. He needs it, and hopefully, he can make a career.
Right, and then you've got a few, like you said, Tom Schoaf. You got Rusty Crowder, who's been around for a while, and Lorenzo Hunt, who is a staple of the BKFC roster on there. Should be a great fight, and we're looking forward to hearing you and Mr. Wheelock do your thing tonight.
Yeah. Well, you talked about, I forgot about that. I think the featured fight right there, Lorenzo Hunt. It's going to be a good fight, man. That's going to be a really interesting fight to see how that one shakes out because, his opponent's undefeated, and I think that has there's a lot of fights where I just don't see them going the distance. I'd be shocked if we had more than, it could be the judges don't have to do anything tonight. They could just kind of show up, get a good seat, and walk off. That's a legit possibility. Then again, there might be, I would say, no more than 2 or 3 that go the distance, which is amazing.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for stopping by and having a chat with us on Mish'N Accomplished. Look forward to having you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks.
That's cool.